Hey everyone, Nick here and welcome back to GameTube, and welcome back to our Poppy Playtime character concept series. So in today's video, the character we're looking into is the Jack-in-the-Box. So we'll go into this character's location, their gameplay mechanics, and all that good stuff as well. And as always, I will just state that this is a made-up character with made-up locations, so anything I say in these videos isn't really linked to the Poppy Playtime lore, but these are just some cool what-if scenarios and a cool creepy story, and we hope you enjoy. And lastly, before we start today's video, do be sure to subscribe to GamerTube as it helps out a lot and it is greatly appreciated. It also keeps you up to date with all the videos that we post. Alrighty, well, let's take a better look at the Jack-in-the-Box. So in our last video, we explored the character of Grabby, another huggy-like creature created by Playtime Co. The original toy was a 4-armed plushie with 4 sticky hands that would allow it to stick onto walls and grab multiple different objects. Whilst our protagonist explored the Playtime Co. research area, they eventually encountered the monstrous character of Grabby. With their 4 extra arms, they proved to be much faster than Huggy Wuggy or Kissy Missy. The player needed to throw multiple vials of colour pigment at Grabby in order to slow them down and give them enough time to escape. At the end of this corridor, the player falls into the toy dumping ground, a large vat filled with thousands of defective toys. Grabby fell in after them and the race was on for the player to activate the ejection lever. Once they did, all the toys slowly started to fall into the incinerator. As our protagonist holds on to the lever, Grabby grabs their leg and holds on. After striking them in the face a few times, they finally let go and got swept up in all the toys as they entered the incinerator. The floor covers the incinerator once again and the player lands into the empty vat. Now all they need to do is find a way out of here. After searching around the concrete walls, they finally come across a large air vent. Finally, they found a way out of this toy graveyard. As they travel through the dark and dusty vent, they can't help but feel like something is watching them. As they finally come to the end of the vent and break open the panel, the player now finds themselves in a new area of the factory. And this new area is the Playtime Co. Play and Development section. This is the section of the Playtime Co. factory that develops baby and toddler toys. Most of these toys were quite simple in design. They were meant for learning and skill development in young children. A lot of these toys included building blocks, counters, rattles, and much more. But one of their most popular baby toys was the Playtime Co. branded Jack-in-the-Box. The Jack-in-the-Box was quite a famous toy with multiple other brands and companies making their own versions. But considering that Playtime Co. was such a popular brand, their version of the classic toys sold much more. The Playtime Co. Jack-in-the-Box works in a similar way to many of the other versions. Children would turn the crank on the side of the box and a specific melody would play. Eventually, after turning the crank enough times, the Jack would pop out of the box. This would either surprise small children or in some cases scare them. Whilst exploring this area, they come across multiple checkpoint gates. It looks like these checkpoints need different levels of clearance the deeper you go into this area. Each gate has a switch that looks like it requires a different coloured play block that fits into it. The player needs to find a specific block in each section to advance towards the exit. While searching for their first play block, they come across their first puzzle. Before them is a table filled with multiple Jack-in-the-Box toys. This must have been where they were tested for quality and functionality. The player needs to open each one to reveal what box is hiding the play block. Each Jack box they open up reveals a more odd-looking Jack. Eventually they come across the box that contains the play block. They grab it and hurry back to the first gate. They place it in the switch and enter through. Now they need to find that second block. Eventually they come across what looks to be the second puzzle. They can see the second play block is locked inside the strange machine. On either side of the machine are multiple coloured counters. The player needs to figure out the correct amount of counters for each side. When they complete this task, the coloured block is eventually freed from the machine. As they walk back to the checkpoint door, they can't help but feel like something is still watching them. They open the second gate and walk through to the last section. But it looks like the power for this gate is down. Not only do they need to find that third play block, but they also need to activate the power. They walk off to the left side and try to find a power source. They locate yet again another power node puzzle that needs multiple nodes powered with their long conductive arm. After they've completed their task, the power is returned to the gate switch. When they return, they see to their surprise the gate and the switch have been smashed open. It seems that something much larger has broken right through the gate. Well, at least the player was free to wander right through and get to the exit. As they walk through, they see once again multiple jack-in-the-boxes scattered on the floor. In the centre of all of them, they see one large jackbox. As they approach it, the crank starts to move all by itself. The melody plays and then stops. As they take one step closer, a large disturbing creature leaps out of the box. It was a giant version of the Jack-in-the-Box. But this horrific creature looked far different from their smaller sized brothers and sisters. The creature's face opened up to reveal multiple sharp jagged teeth and a disturbingly large mouth. The player needs to run before this Jack-in-the-Box devours them with their deadly sharp teeth. The player makes their way through the multiple corridors in hopes of finding the exit soon. The creature slowly but surely slinks towards them. As they approach the exit, it appears that the emergency lockdown gate has been sprung. Why would Playtime Co. want to seal their exits? Maybe it was to stop any of their twisted secrets from ever getting out. As the Jack-in-the-Box makes its way closer and closer, the player spots the breaker box next to the security gate. They break off the door with their GrabPack and reveal a red GrabPack switch. They extend their hand and push the switch. Slowly the gate starts to lower, but they're not going to have enough time to do this in one go. If they waited around too long, the creature would eventually catch up to them and devour them whole. The player needs to come back to the exit door after they've lured the creature away. In this gameplay segment, the player needs to run around one of the corridors and loop back to the door to slowly lower the gate with each loop they run. The more they rope-a-dope the creature, the faster and faster they become. Eventually, after a few passes, the exit door is finally revealed. They enter through the exit. On the other side is a blue GrabPack switch. They press it and raise the gate on the other side, sealing the creature inside. They did it. They finally escaped that dreaded place. They now find themselves walking down a long corridor. Throughout this corridor are multiple air vent panels. This makes our protagonist feel quite uneasy. But surely this creature wouldn't be able to enter through. But they spoke too soon as the terrifying creature breaks through one of the vents and tries to grab them with their deadly mouth. The player needs to quickly run down this narrow corridor and evade the deadly creature. They have to be careful not to get caught by the creature as it bursts out and surprises them. There's some vents that the creature wouldn't burst from, and others that it would smash through and jump scare the player. Eventually they make it to the end of the corridor and run into the elevator. Just as the door slams shut, the Jack shoves their disturbing head into the elevator. The player needs to hit the door's close button quickly so the doors slam on their neck. After a few whacks, they'd take their head out of the elevator and it would start to move. finally the player was safe. But as to where this elevator was taking them, they had no idea. Now I think the Jack-in-the-Box character would be a great addition to the Poppy Playtime enemy roster. They're definitely a classic toy, and I think they would add a much creepier element to the story of Poppy Playtime. Alrighty everyone, well that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting and subscribing, as it helps out a lot and it is greatly appreciated. Also, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the Jack-in-the-Box and what you'd like to see going forward. Alrighty, well until the next video, I'll catch you later, bye.